Welcome to the Yeah Buddy Experience podcast. If you're looking for a podcast to motivate you and get you on track to overcoming obstacles and challenges, this podcast is definitely for you. Get ready for powerful and inspirational goodness, brought to you by your hosts, Mike and Jonny.
Yeah, buddy!
Had some pre-workout on my system.
Say you look slimmer.
No, it's just a t-shirt, man.
You look smaller.
No, I'm joking. No, I've not been training. After the competition in November, I cut back training for a bit and was just trying to do some body weight training and stuff of that nature, but nothing too intense. So I've lost a lot of muscle and all the other stuff, but it's cool. It just allows me to rejig, restart again, and actually, work on my goals, man.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, other than that, life is good. But probably best point to start would be it's episode 16, yeah?
Episode 16, and I think 17, 18, 19 and 20 will come along rapidly as long as the studio stays open.
Yes.
Because I was saying to Eugene when I got here, one of the things is, even with work and stuff, now things have opened up a little bit. I want to go and see people.
Yeah.
I can talk to people all day long on a
Zoom
laptop
and all the other stuff,
Zoom,
yeah.
but it's not the same.
No, of course.
I want to be in the same room as people. I want to be able to see people. But then walking down the high street the other day when I was just grabbing some bits and bobs, bless her, this lady was walking towards me and I didn't have a mask on.
Okay.
But I'm outside and man, she shit herself.
Yeah.
Like see it in her face. Not just me. I could see her darting away from all sorts of people like she was playing a game. And I just thought, how sad is that? Yeah. So not only like as much as I want to be out and about and integrating and meeting people again, you've now got to be conscious and wary of how other people are going to react and want to be around you. You know what I mean?
No, fully. I fully get it. I don't know. I'm still in two minds with this whole thing because I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks that it does feel very much that the lockdown is completely over and I'm back at the gym and loads of my friends are out. I think we're going to a party on the weekend and all other stuff's going on. And I'm kind of going, but nothing's actually really changed. The virus is still very prevalent. It's still out there. And it does feel very much that we negotiate with the virus. After 6 o'clock, it can't attack you. In a group of 6, it can't attack you. If you're outside, the virus decides to leave you alone. It just, for me, sounds a bit sketch. It all sounds sketch.
You can't eat inside, but you can eat outside. So the pubs are now setting up these like little bubbles in these hubs, which are inside.
Yeah.
So that's what I can't get my head around. So are you in? You're not in the pub, but you're in the beer garden, but you're sitting
Inside,
inside something else.
It's all, for me, it's all nonsense. And I find that we have people, I'd class them as very intelligent people, making the most stupidest decisions on a lot of things to the point where it makes no sense.
Are you talking about the government?
Yeah, the government's bad anyway. Don't get me started on the government. But I feel with the government situation anyway, we're in a black hole on that. Because the rival party, the Labour Party, is shite. Mm-hmm. The Conservative Party has no real opposition, so they do whatever they want to do. And because the people in this country are not that smart enough to collectively, we can overthrow the government. Yeah, we can make sure those policies that we're not happy with get disbanded, but we don't do that. There's racism, there's inequality, there's gender issues that we take precedent more than what is the policies that these people are standing for, what's the stuff that's happening with your money, and we don't really act upon it.
Where do you think that comes from?
The
racism, the sexism, the homophobia, all of the isms and phobias that people have. I often see, saying to Eugene, I don't read the news anymore.
Yeah,
I try not to look at the news, but you might see something that says black people complain about a television program that was on last night.
Yeah, and
it's like, who? I didn't. I've seen the program and I'm not complaining about it. I'm speaking to all my peers. They're not complaining about it.
Yeah.
Who are these black people complaining about X, Y, and Z? And then white people will see that we're complaining about it, and then they'll be like, "What are they fucking complaining about?"
Yeah.
And then it just creates tension. When in actuality, no one's complained about anything.
Yeah.
It's just clickbait, and the news outlets or whatever it is have just printed something in order to generate a reaction. Yeah, which is what they've done. Now, I feel that they put articles out there an awful lot to create the division, because what you said there about we can overthrow the government, but the only way we can overthrow them
is unite.
Is to unite.
Yeah, of
but
course.
we can't unite because of everything that you've just said.
But there's going to be no place where we can unite. There's too much, as you've said. There's clickbait. There is the stuff that's pushed left, right, and centre for division. And we're constantly getting it. I think to a point now, it's getting worse. It's getting a lot worse.
It's been recycled.
Yeah, it's been recycled, but I think it's getting worse though. And the reason why I say it's getting worse is it's every day. Before it used to be once a week or every 2 weeks. Now it's every single day. There's either black people are not getting enough opportunities, or there's this report, black people are not happy with this and all this other stuff. And as you said, I talk to my friends and family, and a lot of the stuff that's in the news, we're not really complaining about.
Nope.
There's stuff we are complaining about, hell yeah, but we're not complaining about that stuff because most of that stuff we didn't really know about in the first place.
The what do you call it? What was he the other day? Idris Elba. That's the one that I saw.
Mr. Bond.
Luther.
Yeah.
Luther is deemed not black enough.
Okay.
Because he doesn't eat like Caribbean food on camera, and he hasn't got any black friends.
Wow.
But then I'm thinking to myself, but he's a detective.
Yeah.
He's quite intense.
Yeah.
And some of the time he's not on camera. Other people are. So how do you know what he's doing when he's not on camera? How do you know he's not rocked up to the takeaway curry goat? You know what I mean? A little bit of coleslaw, whatever. He's had his lunch.
Yeah.
And then he moves on to the next scene. But they've put it out there.
Yeah, no, of course. But isn't he like Cockney?
Yeah.
I'm from East London type, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So where is he going to get jerk chicken and rice?
But my point is, the guy's black.
Oh, sorry. So if you're black, you're supposed to have jerk chicken and rice and curry goat and all the other stuff.
But I've got I know black people that are very, very well spoken.
Yeah.
And are not interested in anything that I'm interested in. Still black.
Well, of course.
Yeah. I'm mixed race.
Yeah.
But I class myself as black. I'm seen as black by a majority of people. So who are you who are the BBC or whoever it is that said that we've done a report and he's not black enough?
But I would like to see, where is this report? Where is it? Show us the report. Give us the details. Because I find that there's so many reports being done for everything at the moment.
I think the lady that actually did it
was a black lady. Yeah, but don't get me started on that. We had that race report, which was quite funny, where you had I can't remember the guy's name, the chap who did a report.
There was a board of them. Yeah,
but the main guy who was the figurehead, Doctor.
We'll have a look at that in a sec.
Doctor something.
Idris Elba's Luther was not black enough to be real. BBC's chief diversity officer says BBC chief diversity officer doesn't think the lead character in the former BBC drama Luther was black enough.
Nice. And this is a big black dude, yeah?
Yeah, to be real. And I've seen Luther. Yeah. And at no stage when I was watching it, did I turn to my missus or ring any of my friends and say, rah, man, Luther's a bounty, or Luther's not black enough, or what? He's a fictional character.
Of course.
Yeah. Who is just getting on with his day job. And I'm just like, to put that stuff out there, if you think that, that's cool. Yeah. But why are you putting it out there for people to discuss? We're now talking about it. Yeah. I get that.
Well, it's to create divide, because that same thing did come up on my favourite radio station, which I keep shouting out all the time, LBC. That came up, and one of the hosts was saying, oh, this is terrible. Look, there's so much division going on, and, all that rubbish that he comes out with, that Nick Ferrari guy, early in the mornings. And you had people calling in, going, it's gone too far. It's gone too far. Now what next? And I'm kind of going, I wouldn't complain about this. I wouldn't, For me, Luther was awesome. It was good to watch. Mm-hmm. It's the same with having him as James Bond. I wouldn't think he'd be a good Bond. Yeah, I wouldn't. I throw it out there. I wouldn't. But I wouldn't mind him being a Bond. But it doesn't have to be James Bond.
I heard. I love James Bond, but I don't know all the stats about it and the ins and outs.
Yeah.
If it's on, I'd watch it. But James Bond is a code name, and not necessarily as in James Bond is a person.
Yeah.
So loads of people can be James Bond. Does that make sense?
It does, but for me, I've read the books, and my dad he used to make us watch Bond growing up. But for me, Bond is the quintessential Englishman, overprivileged, on a rampage. Mm. We can't have that for how many years from the books, the films, and then all of a sudden you're going to go, hey, let's make make it a black Bond. For me, it's just like, keep it what it is. We can have Idris Elba play his own character, not in necessarily the Bond franchise, but he could have his own guy. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a name for him, but he could have his own character, his own backstory, and we push that narrative, you know?
Like a Jack Reacher.
Yeah, Jack Reacher.
Yeah.
Like something like that. But just a guy who's got a backstory, which we can all go, okay, that makes sense. You know, I understand.
The Born Identity.
Born Identity, yeah, there's another one.
There's loads.
Yeah.
But it's they like you say, they do this. I think the fundamental point that we're making here is that the powers that be create the division.
Of course.
For us not to be able to unite and come together.
Yeah.
And there's always an argument. Another one, an interesting one.
Far away.
So it was the Penguin in Gotham. Did you ever watch that?
No.
So Gotham is the origin story of Batman and Gotham City. So all the baddies, Riddler, Joker, etc., etc. Well, the Penguin's in it.
Okay.
And he's a gay guy. He's homosexual. And people are like, why is he? Why is the Penguin gay? He was never gay when he was in the comics. And and then you've got other people saying, why can't the Penguin be gay? And then I saw Batwoman come out on TV the other day, and she's a black girl.
Okay.
And it's like, look, all of these characters that you've got, I'm not really fussed what they are. Yeah. But where does the outrage come from? And that's why I think half of these articles and most of it's all bots and...
Oh, no, of course. Or it's just someone sitting in a room going,
Yeah.
tension, tension, tension. What can we do? How can we create this? Let's cause some sort of tension. Because, as you said, I wouldn't be fussed if he was homosexual, if he was straight, if he had a limp. I wouldn't care.
He
you
does
know?
have a limp.
Does he?
He has a limp
Yes,
as well.
man.
Yeah, 'cause he's a penguin, isn't he? He's got the cane. He walks with the cane. Walk
Yes,
with the cane,
man.
walk with the limp.
But
Pretty Leonard.
But I wouldn't have an issue with that, you know. For me, I wouldn't. For me, it's nice seeing Batman on screen, or for, as you said, it's before Batman. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't really care. It's like they've got Spider-Man. I think the animations it's Spider-Man's black.
Yeah, Miles Morales.
Do I care?
But yeah, that's the multiverse. So he can be because in all the different incarnations of the multiverse, there's different Spider-Mans.
Yeah,
and he's one incarnation of Spider-Man. So fictional stories, they can be whoever they want to be.
Of course they can.
Just don't get angry about it and just leave it and let it be what it is.
Yeah,
essentially is what I think. But mate, the talking of division and a big divide, I saw or have seen over the last couple of days is this Derek Chauvin business with George Floyd.
Yes.
So he got given what he pleaded. What did he plead?
Not guilty.
He pleaded not guilty.
Of course he did.
What a scumbag.
I love that.
Jesus
He
Christ.
pleaded no. My man just said nah, not guilty.
Again, like normally I'd be all over this
Yeah.
because I would have been watching the news, taking it all in. But where I've been trying to distance myself from the repetitiveness of and the mundane, like just constantly, you know, you just have to dip in and out of it.
Of course.
So I didn't see any of the trial. The only bit that I saw was his eyes moving rapidly when they were reading out the verdict.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do here? Is he gonna kick off? Is he looked like he took it on the chin. And I'm still now even thinking, is he in jail?
No, see, I've watched the trial for the past 2 weeks. So I watched it with my grandmother because for some reason I got caught up into it. It made me kind of feel like I was watching the O.J. Simpson trial.
Right, okay.
So obviously that happened years ago. I was too young to even watch that. And for me, it had that kind of feeling of we're watching something that could now change how things going forward for black people in America. So I was like, I've got to show interest in this. And I'm sitting there trying to explain the defendant, the prosecutor, what they're saying, what picture they're trying to paint to my grandmother. My grandmother's sitting there kind of going very much at the start, it's murder, it's murder, it's murder, it's murder. Then we get closer to the verdict, and from the information that the defendant put forward, I was sitting there kind of going, I don't really know. Because he was putting a lot of holes in the story. So he came up with stuff about the drugs in his system and also the camera angles and stuff like that. And obviously trying to paint a different picture. The picture we saw, it looked like murder. His knee was on George's neck. The guy died on the ground. But listening to the defendant, who was very, very good, like literally very good, I was sitting there kind of going, shit, I don't really know, you know? I don't really know. Even though the different experts came up, The defendant guy was very much with each expert poking holes in their background or their experience to do with cases like this magnitude. And at the end of that, I was kind of going, shit, I'm not sure. Then we stayed up from where the period where the juries went back to do their deliberations. So that was at, I think, maybe 1 p.m. UK time. And I said to my granny, I said, look, if they come out after 3 hours or 4 hours, it's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It went 4 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours. It went 11 hours. I said to Granny, look, 11 hours, they're in a room and some people are saying, yeah, guilty. Some people are saying no chance. For me, this seems very much as he's going to get off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it happened, I call my mum, I call my dad, and I'm on the phone with them 10 minutes before the verdict's read. I'm saying to everyone, make sure you watch this because this goes two way. For me, I feel this is a very important thing for Black America, so we have to watch it. And then they said, guilty, guilty, guilty. And as you said, his eyes were just, and that was a look of a man going, nah. And they didn't say guilty, did they?
I think he was trying to make, I don't know, eye contact, but he was trying to look at like the police and the judges
Help
to say,
me.
are we not on the same side here?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. Like he was like, what the fuck?
Did you not get the script? He was kind of going, bro, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I ended up laughing. I was sitting there going, my man's in some serious shit now, you know? You've been caught doing something you shouldn't have done. Your backup, the police force, all the people that are probably pulling strings to try and get you off this have not been able to do it. And it just threw me to the point, even I spoke to my dad after that. We spoke on the phone from 2 to 4 a.m. And my dad was just touched, you know? He was sitting there and he was just like, this is amazing, you know? And I didn't really understand that, but obviously he's seen all the stuff in America. He's probably had issues with the police in this country. And I'm sure he saw himself in that situation of being victimized like George Floyd was. However, we've got some sort of justice from this situation, which means that there will be movements and a divide now with the police force in America. Can't do that shit. Yeah, no, you can't do that shit. I know someone got shot the other day and someone did get shot again. A woman got shot and a Mexican or South American kid got shot, which was...
I'm trying to find this. Yeah.
Go on, what you got?
No, it's something that I put up.
It's not the video of the girl who had the knife and then she got shot.
No. Not that.
Because that was wrong. But it's always going to be wrong.
I'm skeptical of this because...
Go on, you're skeptical of a lot of things, my man.
Yeah, you have to be.
We're going down that road again.
No. Okay, so it was just, I should know this off the top of my head, but if you can tell me who said this, you probably know. The white man will try to satisfy us with symbolic victories rather than economic equality and real justice.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Oh,
right?
that.
Now, but it's what I thought of as soon as I heard the verdict.
Okay.
And then I saw everybody celebrating it and people are posting pictures and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because I said to my wife before we went to bed, I bet someone gets killed tomorrow.
And someone did get
and
killed.
Someone did get killed the next day. But then everyone was saying, yeah, but she had a knife and she was going to stab the girl. Yeah. And I was like, true, I'm not a trained police officer, so I don't know how you would deal with that situation. He jumped out of the car. He ran over to me. It looked like he just shot her 4 times in the chest.
No, he did. Because I watched that and I watched the policewoman that mistakenly took the gun rather than the taser.
Yep. And
she's going to do prison time. She will.
Yeah. So she's resigned, or did she resigned? Right? She didn't get fired. She resigned.
No, I think she resigned, but she'll be in court for that because you can't. There's no chance you can. 20 years of service, you should know the weight of your taser. You know your gun.
Yep.
You shouldn't have to straight away on scene. I'm tasering someone. Let's ask questions. Let's defuse the situation. So obviously your training has not done you good.
No.
For you to be in that situation, and I think I don't know. For me, I'm a bit more optimistic than yourself. Yes, I get the Malcolm X viewpoint on it, but I'm trying to be of the mindset that change will come. And if it doesn't come that way, we will force change to happen. Which sounds really like a militant.
No, listen, the more militant you get, the more militant they get.
No, but I think you have to.
So, you see people are protesting, oh, mate, in other countries. Listen, people think they're protesting in this country. Yeah. And, the policeman barged me.
Yeah.
All right. You look at some of the protests in Paris,
Yeah.
Like all over the world.
They hold
like,
up.
Literally, people are
hold
getting battened across the back of the
Yeah.
head, blood everywhere, armies rolling out, and all that sort of stuff. But with this, I'm just going back to this girl that had the knife.
Yes.
She got shot 4 times in the chest.
Yeah.
Okay, like there was no trying to calm those situation down there. It was a little bit hectic. And people are pointing that out to me. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's died. But then today, a video starts circulating. And I'm like, where are all these videos coming from all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Of a white guy. Police got called because he was having some sort of episode.
And he had a knife.
And he had a knife.
Yeah.
What did he do with the knife? Stabbed the policeman.
Oh, you stabbed him?
He stabbed the policeman. Did he get shot? No. Did he
Yeah.
get tasered? No.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just like, how quick that video comes out after.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, they put this one out, then they put that one out. And again, it caused that division.
No, of course it
and that
does, because
separation.
obviously you're going to sit down and go, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're going to have some anger, some rage, and now you're sitting there going, F the police. I need to, yeah. No, I get you.
Yep.
For me, look, it's like writing a playbook and then just letting it go and creating a division. I get you. Yeah, I get you 110%. But I'm trying to not go down that road. I sat down on the phone after that George Floyd thing. 2 hours with my dad, and my dad was very much around what you've just said. And I'm still on my fence going, no, we're going to get changed. Things will get better. But I don't know. I think if we live in that moment where we see that it's constant division, I think we're always going to be struggling to progress from this.
But it's listen.
And we need to progress.
It's the same playbook that's been going on for eternity. Religion.
Yeah, well,
it's another one.
Religion's a nonsense.
Yeah, but Christianity versus Islam.
Yeah.
And all of the wars. You know, it's the same old playbook where they cause the separation and the division, so people can't unite to come against the main powers of corruption that are enforcing all of these ridiculous rules upon us. They pass legislations without anybody realising, because we're all arguing about something else.
Football.
We're all arguing about football.
But then my question is, because I'm very much of a person who, I see the problem, but I want to find a solution. How do we progress from this? How do we unite? How do we
globally, or are we talking about American police?
No, I just mean just in general. Like, we as black people, people of color, have always been shitted upon. Yes. How do we get to a stage where we say enough is enough? We need to now kick on. You're not helping us. You are hindering us. You're not allowing us to flourish. Let's now kick on.
What it is we just need. It's not opportunity, because we do have that.
Yeah.
People just need to say people. So I don't want to keep saying white people, but that seems to be where the majority of the abuse comes from. But then all races.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What racism is
so like all races fight and bicker amongst each other. But for black people specifically, because that's what I've experienced, is it's that old adage of when you might end up sitting next to somebody who is a little bit racist. You don't know they're racist.
Yeah.
And then they might talk to you and they might say something along the lines of, oh, you're all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know what he means.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I've been there 10 times before. And it's just about opening yourself up to people and having honest conversations with people of other races.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to be overly polite to you for you to know that I'm a decent person. You should just not be racist, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you invented racism.
Or screw that. I don't have to be nice to you.
Yeah, I don't have to be nice to
I don't
you.
have to go out my way when we're walking down the road to kind of cross over.
Not all people of not all Asian people are nice to each other. Not all black people are nice to each other.
Of course.
And then, fucking don't worry about racism, mate. Black on black crime. You're all killing each other.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Because of the inner cities and
where
we're positioned, and then you've got like in Boys in the Hood, when Lawrence Fishburne is talking. I said it before. It's like it's the same old playbook again and again, where we are put into these underprivileged areas and we're not given the funding that's afforded to us.
Yeah,
and we have gatekeepers that allow certain sections of society to go off and achieve and obtain and flourish, but then they just don't give that to you.
But then I think that's where we have to take ownership of knowledge. You know, we have now in this day and age, we have the ability to get knowledge like that.
You can get it, and you're gonna have to get it like that.
Obviously, you have to search, but this is where we need to come together, have workshops, have online tutorials, just based around history, based around you as a person. Where do you come from? Because the narrative we're always told is that we come from slaves. But obviously, before there were slaves, there were people doing stuff. They were people that were educated up to a standard. We come further than that, you know? And I just find that, especially now I'm getting older, I start to realize that we need to showcase that more, you know? Showcase that more.
You always send me off on one.
Go for it, man.
No, it's kids these days. Now I sound old. Because it's not all kids.
Yeah.
But there is the great disconnect from who we are, what we are. And it's not our fault and it's not their fault.
Yep.
It's because stuff is suppressed and we're not told about certain things. So my cousin was at my house the other day.
Yeah.
He's a white guy.
Yep.
And we were having this conversation. And I said, bro, why is it that I can tell you all about your kings and queens, but you can't tell me about mine? And he's like, what?
You had kings?
Yeah, he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, Henry VIII, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All the homework that we had to do when we were at school. And I was like, I bet you know all about Adolf Hitler, don't you?
Of course.
And he was like, yeah. I said, do you know about Leopold and what he did?
No.
And he was like, no, I don't. And so I told him, and he was like, bro, I never knew about that. And I was like, yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you weren't taught that
stuff. Yeah.
So the information is out there, but they suppress it and they keep it from us. And one thing that I hear an awful lot of people say is that the most dangerous person in the world
is a person with knowledge.
Is an educated black man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not to other people,
Yeah.
dangerous to the powers that be.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they want to suppress that information. I don't know why they would rather have us think that the pyramids were built by aliens than by black people. And geographically, when you look at it and you go back through history, people had dark skin.
Well, that's common sense.
It's common sense.
That's common sense.
But
if you're so close to the equator, you're not going to be white.
They use it how they want to use it. And they tell mistruths. And then those mistruths over decades and centuries become truth.
Of course.
And then we don't want to look into the reality of it because we think that's what it is.
No, you're right. I just find, as I keep saying, as I'm getting older now, that we need to come together.
Yeah. So
somehow we need to set up foundations, study groups, just to educate the youngers of what's happening, you know, where your parents are from, where your grandparents are from, great-grandparents, you know, so it allows you to know where you can go, what you can achieve. You don't have to be the roadman because that's what everyone does in the era. No, you could actually be a scientist if you want. You could be someone who's making obscene amounts of money where you can look after your mum, your sister, your brother, and build something, you know? And I think we need to get to that stage. Like, I'm in a few groups at the moment where we are working towards stuff like that. And for me, I'm very passionate about that. I'm not racist or anything like that, but I'm just, for me, I want us to have an equal playing field of opportunities and also allow us to build something. So I can look back and say, you put your time in, you've supported a good cause, and now we are seeing some positive movements from it.
I think that's starting to happen organically, but we're in the midst of this struggle whereby the guys that hold all the keys can see that.
Of course
and
they can.
They're really trying hard covertly
to shut that down
through the mediums of media and everything else to shut it down. So it's about navigating yourself around that. And I mean, we were speaking off camera, I won't mention no names, but I speak to people in the industry, whether it be film or music, and well, even so, when I was trying to get into the music industry back in the day, and we were point blank told, we like you, but but you're black, and people aren't ready for it. They won't, you know what I mean? But if this music was made by a white guy, we could sell it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Come on, bruv. That was only like late 90s, early 2000s. But now my peers of my age that look like me are now the gatekeepers, and we're now turning around to people and saying, do you know what? I'm going to take you through and I'm going to give you an opportunity. Yeah. So it is happening, but because that's happening more and more, it's putting certain people's noses out of joint.
Of course.
They don't like it, which is why what you're saying earlier about you're starting to see this stuff every day now.
Yep.
that's the reason why, because they're pushing it every day.
Yeah.
And they want us to fight every day.
Of course,
But I think it's just, like you say, what you're doing is great, and just to educate the youngers, and people of all ages, educate yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not just the youngers, you know what I mean? You have to do this reading because I mean, they are restricting the internet.
Of course.
That's just something that's naturally happening.
Yeah, yeah.
We lost so much information with the burning of Alexandria way back when. So much stuff
It's lost.
has been lost.
Yeah, yeah.
And the books and the history that were thrown overboard of the slave ships, the stuff that they took, and the villages and the stuff that they burnt, and
stuff that they saw in the
stuff that
Amazon
they
and
saw.
all the other stuff.
And I saw something earlier. It was Bill Cosby.
Okay.
And I think it was like from, he laughing.
Yeah.
I think it was like
Bill's
from,
a finished man.
Yeah, well, it was like from, I think he must have done a documentary in the 80s, but he
Yeah.
was talking about African art.
Okay.
And he was showing artifacts and African art pieces, and he was saying, have a look at this. This is currently in the British Museum, or this is currently in the, wherever it might be, Smithsonian. Now have a look at this Picasso picture.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It's the same.
Of
It's
course
the
it
same
is.
thing.
Of
They've
course it
just
is.
copied the African art,
Yeah.
turned it into
Put a little stamp on it.
yeah,
That's
European like Western art, put a stamp on it, and sold it for millions of pounds and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but everything kind of comes back from that. So why can't we celebrate that? It doesn't take anything away from you.
Oh no, of course not. The reason why you can't celebrate is because then you start realizing that we can achieve good stuff. You know, we've achieved great stuff rather than, hey guys, you were slaves. And some of you were lucky to actually work inside. And some of you were outside. And we helped you get some rights. We supported you. And now you're here. That's it. Rather than there was black people in Britain. A lot of the British people went over to Africa and saw that people were living great. Decided to befriend them, rape them, pillage from them, and then put them on a ship. So we're not sharing that. And I know why they're not sharing that information, because we have to be seen to be dumb. You know, and stupid. And I think maybe there's this idea that if we do get equal playing field, we're gone.
They're gone.
No, we're gone.
We're gone.
In terms of we're going up.
Oh right.
Yeah, we're gone. Because if
we,
the way I've always seen it, and I'm starting to look at it even more, through all of the shit that we've gone through as people, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still fighting.
Yeah.
And we're still looking to progress.
Yeah.
So obviously those people are very, very strong. You don't go through the slavery, the victimization, coming out of slavery, the stuff in America, the redlining and all the other stuff, the drug issues that we've had, the killings that we've had, the beatings that we had on TV, the struggle to get employment, to get businesses, to look after your family. And we still are here knocking the door saying, let us in.
Yep.
Obviously, there is a reason to be afraid.
Because we're powerful.
Yeah, literally. I know it sounds
think,
quite hard saying that, but
it's the whole human race is powerful.
I know, of course. I think
we've all been dumbed down.
yeah.
We've all been suppressed.
Yeah,
so obviously the reason, I mean, we talk about black culture and black society a lot because we are black.
Yeah.
But it works the same for all races, and
course.
they're doing it to everybody. So it's not just us. I think they don't want us to be intelligent. They don't want us to know. And I mean, fundamentally, I think we're moving forward now into the technological age.
Yep.
Whereby if you don't want to get vaccinated, well, sorry, if you want to go on holiday, you may need to be vaccinated. It's
not may need. They're trying to push
right.
that
So they're trying to push it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But when I said this 12 months ago, everyone called me crazy, and now we're here, right? And it's a coincidence. But anyway, they're now talking about microchips.
Yes. Well, they've actually, some people in Sweden already have microchips implanted
to tell them if they've got COVID symptoms.
Oh, okay. That's the new one then,
right? Well, I'm sorry, but if I look in the mirror, I can tell if I've got COVID symptoms.
Yeah.
My immune system will tell me if I've got COVID symptoms. So are we now trying to move away from trusting our own bodies to having to rely on the state and the government in order to look after us? So are they going to replace everything that we've relied on for millennia to then for them to say, right, you need to take this drug, you need to do this, or you can't do X, Y, and Z? And mate, it's bloody worrying. But yeah, we're moving towards this technological age.
It's not that worrying though, because I'm reading. So I'm book club fan number 1 at the moment. I'm reading books all the time, but I'm reading 1984.
Yeah.
And in that, you're sitting there kind of going, some of the stuff that they're discussing there It's stuff that's already happening.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
We're going down that road.
Yeah, we're going down that road, and when you're in it, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Essentially, and you have to roll with the punches. But the bit that gets me about it all is the fact that they deny it.
Yep.
And then it happens.
Yep.
So why are you denying it? Why not just tell us where you want us to go? Because what I'm saying here is, so we're moving forward into the technological age. We remember like Google Glass and everything else.
Yep.
Virtual reality is becoming more affordable, everything else. So you might need a vaccination to go on holiday.
Yep.
Right. But if you don't want to take that vaccination, don't worry, because you can now get a PlayStation 5 with a virtual reality headset, and it's like you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't need to go. Oh, and by the way, Google Glass or Apple Glass or whatever it's going to be called, no longer do you need to drive from London to Newcastle for your business meeting.
Yep.
It's all like you're in the same room and we're all sitting there. I understand that there's going to be technological advances, right, that are going to make things easy, but that going hand in hand with social distancing and people not wanting to be close with each other now because they're scared that they might catch something from somebody that is showing no symptoms, but it's still infecting people. It's like they're trying to drive people
of course,
apart as well.
It is.
And they're trying to dumb us down with the knowledge they don't want us. Like, what are they so scared about?
It's not scared. It's just control.
Control.
Yeah, there's no. I don't see any fear in it. I think it's very much of we want to control what you consume, physically, mentally. We want control of everything.
Of which I wouldn't necessarily mind if they could put as much energy into telling us where we're all from, what this is.
But they're not going to do that, though.
What that is.
They're not going to do that, though.
Come on, man. We need to know.
Well, no, of course they do, because for me, I find that fascinating. I find all of that fascinating. I find history fascinating, and I'm talking way back. I'm finding looking up to the sky. That's fascinating. And I would like to know more about the information that they have, you know, rather than they give us, oh, yeah, we're thinking about going to the moon again. How many times have you been to the moon? Have you found shit on the moon? Because you probably have. That's why we haven't gone there as many times as that we should have done. You know, we went in, what was it, the 60s?
And they're already on the moon, mate.
No, but I'm just saying, they said...
I'm doing my best Alex Jones impression. We're on the moon. We're on the moon.
I'm just saying, they went in the 60s... But this is the narrative they paint. They went in the 60s and they flew up a few times, few accidents along the way, tried to beat the Russians. And then since then, we haven't gone to the moon.
So did we say this before? So the Van Allen radiation belt.
No, I didn't. Enlighten me.
Right. So when they went up on the Apollo missions,
yes.
So you got the Van Allen, if I might be butchering the name, but the Van Allen radiation belt, okay? So with the technology that they had at the time, so you're talking like old film rolls and whatever, it can't make that jump through that barrier of radiation.
Okay.
It would have completely destroyed everything that they had.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like where the conspiracy comes of, did we actually go to the moon?
Yeah.
Did Stanley Kubrick film this
in a studio?
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that we didn't necessarily go there. It just means that we might not have been able to bring the footage back. So they asked Stanley Kubrick, would you mind?
Yeah,
we'll pay you to film this. Yeah. We'll put it out as if we've
been there.
But we have been there. But we're going to put this video out because we haven't got anything to show. So, but they're saying that they went there with technology and power that is like powering my iPhone now.
Yeah.
Right. And with all of the advancements that we've made, and we're now in 2021.
Yep.
We're now struggling to still be able to achieve to get there.
Well, the line I heard was that they didn't have the finance.
They didn't have the finance.
That's what they were saying. They said we haven't been, and I'm sitting there going, wait, the budget per year.
They didn't have the finance.
Is in the billions. So if you're saying you don't have the finance now, how did you have the finance before?
Yeah. That's it.
How did I don't understand.
I don't understand how they're financed before, but they've lost the videos as well, you know?
Well, of course they have. They lost everything.
They lost the footage. Somebody recorded over it is one.
Yeah.
Over some of them. They've recorded over the moon landings, did they?
Yeah, but for me, I think they actually went there.
Fucking Baywatch recording on top of it.
I think they made it, but I think what they found there, they found creatures or aliens, and then that's it. They realized, shit, we ain't going there again.
Right. So Buzz Aldrin, again, they're trying to make him out to be some crazy guy.
Okay.
Listen, how many maybe going to space sends you crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know. But in order to be an astronaut, the amount of aptitude tests that you have to take, the training that you have to go through.
Of course, yeah, it's intense.
Yeah. So they wouldn't have said, yeah, let's just send Crazy Joe.
Yeah.
Crazy Joe. That's another one, isn't he? Let's not send Crazy Buzz to
the moon again.
To the moon.
Yeah.
So now he's coming down. He might be playing the game himself.
Yeah.
He might be like, you know what, I'm going to wind up the world.
Yeah.
He said there's a monolith on Phobos.
Okay, Phobos
which is one of the moons of Mars.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, like an Odyssey.
Yeah.
And with the monolith. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's saying there's one there.
Okay.
No one knows how it got there.
Yeah.
No one knows what it is. Right. But it's there. And they were also saying when we were on the moon and we were standing on one side of the craters,
Yeah.
there were these other people.
Wow.
Not people, but there were these other
beings.
Bipedal beings.
Yeah.
Looking at us. Everything we did, they watched us.
Okay.
When they were flying down to the planet, to the moon, they could hear like some sort of orchestra sort of music, and they were like, "Can you hear that? Can you hear this? Can you hear that?"
Wakanda
Yeah,
forever.
exactly. And but they just ridicule it all.
Okay.
But we haven't made this up. These are your astronauts telling us this.
Of course. But no, even you saying that, for me, I find this fascinating. And I think that it would be great if we found out stuff like that, you know, because then you can sit down and go, shit, man, I would like to be an astronaut, or I'd spend more time learning about the moon, the stars, and how can we get there again? Because I was watching Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan, and I also watched the documentary Area 51.
What, his documentary?
Yeah, but it was done by the filmmaker.
Shit.
I can't. Yeah, it's
Jeremy
really
Corbell.
bad. So I listened to the podcast first,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Whoa, this is wicked."
Same as that.
Yeah.
And then I told my dad.
And then I watched the Netflix thing, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yep.
10 minutes in, turn this rubbish off.
I was like, Dad, this podcast is amazing.
It was insane.
Let's watch this documentary. It's the guy that was on the podcast. And halfway through, my dad was like, turn this shit off.
Yeah, it was bad because the podcast itself was awesome, because I was sitting there going, "Tell me more," you know, because he's talking about at the base. We were watching how certain stuff was created, you know, now trying to reverse engineer to build ships and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is fascinating. That's the stuff that we should be learning about, you know? We should be exploring that. And it makes me kind of question, why don't we know more about this stuff?
That's the stuff that I think is happening that we know about. So, yeah, Bob Lazar, whether he's telling the truth or not,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I still believe it, if that makes sense.
No, I believe he's telling the truth.
Yeah, so a lot, and one thing that really pricked my ears up when he was talking about that is when he said, this is archaeological, some of this stuff is archaeological.
Yeah.
Like this is that we found on
Other
that
planets.
that they found on digs
Okay.
on this planet.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, this isn't like spaceships come out
Yeah, yeah.
now, crashed, we've taken it.
We found it.
We've
time
found
ago.
this on a dig,
Yeah.
and it must have been from
Way
way
back.
back when. And it's still far superior than any technology that we've got.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so that makes sense. But you look at like a lot of the ancient texts from around the world.
Oh, they've got images of certain things, haven't
They've
they?
got images, so especially the Sumerian culture.
Yeah.
But they talk about the planet. They call it the 12th planet.
Yeah.
And it's on an elliptical orbit, and it's on a 3,500 year elliptical orbit. So every time it comes around,
Yeah.
the people that live on that planet hop
Come over.
to come to us.
Yeah.
So in a lot of the ancient texts from all over the world,
Yeah.
they talk about star people,
Yeah.
people from the sky beings.
Yeah.
They came here, they gave us
Knowledge. and-
civilization,
yeah.
cultivate this, law, order, kings,
Because
queens,
they,
etc.
because I read some stuff and I saw a few documentaries on YouTube in regards to Stargate.
Stargate, again, the truth in plain sight.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that threw me because I ended up watching Stargate again the other day, and I'm sitting there going, they've got statues
So-
and places in certain parts of Africa which have got kind of entrances to a Stargate.
So the Stargate, the word on the street.
Wow, it's on the streets, my
Word on
man.
the
You hear this
street-
one? Yes.
Word on the street is that Saddam Hussein
Yeah, he
was
found some
massively
stuff.
into the occult and was in possession of a Stargate.
Okay.
Next thing, weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
We're all in there,
Yeah.
overthrown the government, blah, 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 blah.
Shut it down.
Around the same time, they found the supposed tomb of Gilgamesh,
Okay, yeah.
which is one of the ancient Sumerian kings. Now, the Sumerian kings list as well, it states that their kings were ranging from ruling their certain areas of rulership
Yeah.
500 years. This one ruled for 1,000 years. This one ruled for 800 years.
Yeah.
These people have written the flood story
Way
back when,
Yeah.
with Ziasudra, who was Noah in the Bible. And it's kind of like, well, how can Noah in the Bible be true?
Yeah.
But then it's predated by 4,000 years
Before,
in the
yeah.
Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yep.
And the flood tablet, on the flood tablet. But then these are the same people that have depictions of the solar system carved out on stone.
Yep. Way back.
In scale.
Yeah.
And in the right orbit.
Yeah.
But they're telling us also that they're people that came from the sky.
Yeah.
And told them this knowledge.
Yeah.
And gave it to them. So the reason I talk about that, the planet on the elliptical orbit, is because you've got the asteroid belt.
Yep.
And the Kuiper belt. Right, so the asteroid belt is essentially debris, and the moon is what's left over from when those two planets collided, our planet,
Yeah.
yeah, and this other celestial body hit each other. But this isn't anything that's not written
in text.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
but for me, I just find it so fascinating because, yeah, it's when you start thinking about it, all you really want to do is explore more. You know, you want to keep going and see where you can, what you can find. You know, and it's a shame that we don't get a chance to explore that or even learn that. And I'm hoping in our lifetimes, us three here, we will learn more.
Well, it should be the connection. So there should be a massive focus. I say there should be. I would hope that there was a massive connection in schools to say, this is what we know about space. This is what it is. Don't hide anything.
Yeah.
This is what you are. This is where we came from.
Yeah.
I mean, when I found out about the Sumerians, the Akkadians, and fucking the Olmecs and everything, I was just, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
And I was like, how have I not known? Like, this is so interesting.
You should be teaching me in school.
You should be teaching me this stuff in school.
Yeah.
And you haven't. So we need to have like an interconnection with this thing that we live on called planet Earth, which is essentially a living and breathing organism in itself. And it regenerates and it recycles. So then people are talking about global warming at the minute and all that sort of stuff. But it's, I don't know. But with this alien stuff, I'm glad you brought it up. I don't know if you've seen, I think in the midst of lockdown last year, the Pentagon announced that we have something that was made
Elsewhere,
not on this planet.
Yeah.
And they've got it in their possession.
Okay.
And then the very next day in the New York Times, they retracted the story. They said, "Oh, we've got it a little bit wrong.
We've killed the guy who came out with that story."
Yeah. You don't go to print with a story like that if there's no truth in it.
Yeah.
Right. But then this again, Jeremy Corbell released those images last week.
Yeah.
Of the pyramid type UFOs or UAPs, they call them now. Hovering over the warships in the ocean, just watching them.
Yep.
And they've got them on radar.
Yep.
And they've got them on the heat-seeking. They don't know what they are. And then the very next day, the Pentagon came out and said, yes, true.
Yeah.
That video footage is real.
Yep.
We don't know what they are. Yeah. And the ex-head of the, I think like the UAP unit within the CIA, whatever it is, was on CNN and said, as part of the coronavirus stimulus package, we have to release all of the information that we have on UAPs by the 1st of June, 2021.
Yep.
What that's got to do with COVID, I don't know. But it's in there. And he said, I'll tell you more when I know about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, after that date. But what I can tell you now is that we've identified and witnessed phenomena that can travel faster than the speed of sound without breaking the sound barrier.
Yeah, no, because I saw that video.
Boom, yeah.
Yeah.
And they call it, is it transmotion or something?
Yep.
I can't think of what the word is, but what they're referring to is an object which can fly.
Yep.
And go underwater.
Yep.
Come back out and fly again with
no issues.
Yeah. So it's as easy as it is in water. But then Columbus, I think, and Marco Polo and a couple of other people have reports when they were on their ships
that they saw stuff like this.
They saw stuff that was going in the water, coming out of the water.
Wow. But see, I like that because for me, I see it and I go, whoa, this is interesting. This is cool, man. It's like watching a film, you know?
It is, yeah.
And it's just a shame that we don't have that. But I'm sure most of the movies that we've watched for a long period of time, some of there's hints of truth in them, you know? Because some of it, you watch it and you kind of go, oh, that sounds a bit sketchy. And then later on, you start hearing stuff and you kind of go, oh, maybe someone was learning something or studying.
There's hints of truth in everything.
Yeah.
Minority Report.
Yeah, Minority Report. Yeah.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Any zombie film that you've ever seen.
Yeah, the zombie ones.
They use them as an analogy, as in people walking around just staring at their phones.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that point anyway.
Into each other.
Yeah, we're getting to that point.
Uneducated.
Yeah.
Consuming everything that they see, you know, and just taking it in. And then you've got the other people, like humans, that are trying to barricade themselves in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that. But then the rest of society is trying to claw the door down, trying to get at them. You need to believe what we believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we've gone round the circle on that one. But yeah, that is kind of the zombie apocalypse. Just in a
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars, Star Trek.
Star Wars, Star Trek. George Lucas is massively into all of that old ancient stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I think so you've got Darth Vader.
Yeah.
But then you have the Indian Vaders. The
Indian
texts.
Vaders.
So I'll butcher this. The Mahabharata is one of them.
Okay.
Which is all of their history and law and everything else.
Because I was watching a documentary about the Skinwalkers the other day, and that was quite far-fetched. So it was like, Skinwalkers?
Skinwalker Ranch, I've heard of.
Skinwalkers in terms of like wolves that can change into people. And
yes. All right.
Which I was like, wow, this is far-fetched. And then you had some of the native Indian guys, and they were just talking about, we had texts way back which had information of these creatures. And I'm sitting there going, shit, man, imagine if this stuff was real, we would be in some trouble.
Vampires?
Yeah. Well,
listen, have you seen King Kong yet?
Which one? The most recent?
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Okay, I've watched 10 minutes and I had to turn it off.
Why?
Because rubbish.
Brilliant.
No, don't be silly, mate.
I watched it with all the kids. So.
Well, that's probably why. Oh, Daddy, look, Godzilla is just so buff.
But you watched the you watched the beginning, right? The intro.
With the credits?
The montage and
yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying about films having truth hidden in.
Yeah, there was loads of stuff in there.
So they had a made-up montage of news reports, basically saying it was in the year 2018 when we found out that Godzilla and the Titans were real and blah blah blah. So, but they made it out to be like Sky News, CNN, blah blah blah. In the midst of that, they chucked in Admiral E. Byrd goes to the Arctic and
explores
and finds an opening and blah blah blah. Well, Admiral E. Byrd did go to the Arctic.
Yeah.
In the 40s, and he came back and said that he was run out of town.
Okay.
By UFOs.
Yeah.
And they went back with an armada, tanks, warships, everything else.
Couldn't find anything.
I don't know what happened after that.
Okay.
Because then obviously it went silent. But then he was also on TV and in old black and white. I tried to find it for one of my friends not so long ago. And do you know, it was so difficult for me to find the video. But when I was looking at it years ago, it came straight up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
So what he's saying is, when they went there, they experienced all of these things with the UFOs and stuff, but beyond the ice cap, which now sounds like Game of Thrones, there's another continent, and he said this continent is similar size to South America, unexplored, but it's there. So I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this is an admiral,
saying this
in the American Navy, saying this. Why would I not believe him? And it was way before any censorship and stuff. So I'm thinking, do we even live where we think we live?
Probably not.
Is it not the Truman Show?
Yeah. But for me, I find, even listening to you there, I'm sitting there going, tell me more. Well, I just find that stuff is just fascinating because there's so much out there. I was watching another documentary to do with the Amazon, and they were saying that when they went to the Amazon originally, there was people there and they had civilization. Yeah, so in the Amazon, in the heart of the Amazon.
Yeah, so the oldest dating, I think, known people there are the Olmecs.
Yeah.
That they know of, but they don't know who they are, where they came from. Yep. But if you've ever seen the Olmec statues,
yes,
the giant heads, with the broad noses,
they're like black guys.
Yeah, but they also have Olmec heads,
that
look like Asian guys, like Chinese, Japanese, like sort of look. And it's like, when was this land discovered?
Yeah.
Who's been there before? What is all of this? The pyramids in Tenochtitlan. Yeah, it's Tenochtitlan. The pyramids that are there, Pyramid of the Moon, the Sun, and everything else, the Aztecs and the Mayans say that they were already there.
Okay.
We didn't build them. But a lot of the people put them, like, now, if you were like at school or wherever,
they'll tell you,
oh,
these
the
guys
pyramids
built
are made by the Aztecs and whatever.
No, before that.
They said they were there before them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so who the hell
Built
built?
this
Because everyone
stuff.
knows about the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah.
But who built these
These
pyramids
ones.
that are still aligned to Orion's belt, the same as the ones?
And how would you have built
in
that
Egypt,
to
though?
be? Yeah, no. For me, I keep saying it's fascinating. I think we need to, as people, obviously scientists and stuff, create a time machine. That for me would be the kicker.
Have they created one?
Well,
Do you think they could? I don't know.
I don't know if they could, but that for me would be the kicker, because from there, and obviously they would have to showcase the information that they find, but that would be amazing. You could go back to whatever time period, and you can say, boom, here's a snapshot, here is what it was like then. That would blow your mind. And if it does blow your mind, you then will realise that 9 to 5 that you're doing is a load of bullshit.
Well, yeah, this is what I say about the Truman Show. And do we live where we think we do?
Yeah.
I honestly think this is something like Lord of the Rings, where you have
What, different realms?
no, but when you go back in history, there were giants, there were pygmies, there were hobbits, there were dragons as such,
Yeah.
which could be dinosaurs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like remnants of dinosaur. But another one is Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot.
So people ridicule that and say, "Oh, you're stupid for thinking about it."
Yeah.
But hang about, there was an animal called Gigantopithecus.
Yep.
Which was a bipedal ape. It was like the biggest living ape ever that we've got evidence of. Who's to say if alligators are still around?
Yeah.
and
Who's to say it
crocodiles?
wasn't? Yeah.
Then
Well, we'd never know. As I'm saying, you would actually never know.
you'd never know.
And I'm probably sure they did find stuff, and with time and people killing creatures and stuff and wiping out animals, you're always going to have that. You know, if we went back 1,000 years, 2,000 years, or even further than that, you probably would see creatures in the middle of nowhere that we would now to this day kind of go, that would have never have happened, that didn't exist. But we've got the bones, we've got pictures of this stuff, you know. I don't know, I just find it very fascinating. For me, it just makes me even more realize that I'd love to be like a historian, or like Graham Hancock, get my little satchel and just journey around exploring.
Even Graham Hancock, being the Indiana Jones that he is, they've tried to ruin him.
Well, they're going to, because
for telling his truth.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit the mainstream narrative, they don't allow for change. It would mean ripping up a lot of history books and a lot of education manuals and changing the curriculum.
Yeah.
But
which is they're not going to do that.
But it's like, why can't we admit?
Yeah. We got it
or
wrong.
learn and just move on. Not that we got it wrong, because at the time it was right. This is what we thought it was.
Not necessarily, though, because a lot
in some cases.
Yeah, because a lot of this stuff is very much of, I'm the victor, I tell you how it went down.
Yeah.
Not, this is the real information, and now you can decide what you want to believe, what you want to take from it. I think we should get to that point. I'm hoping we get to that point, and I'm hoping that's going to happen in our lifetime, because if not, it just feels like we're going to miss out on a great opportunity. Because that 9 to 5 that we're doing,
there's more to this.
It is more than the history. Come on.
But we're battery chickens essentially.
Yeah.
And we live in a shop.
But then that's why it's an escape. Because before it used to be, work, build whatever, do get into the hub, be in the center of things. Now it's very much of escape for freedom, you know? Try and get out, disconnect from your phone, disconnect from your laptop, feel nature, feel the presence of the breeze and all the other stuff. Try and escape from the city, and that's the way it should be, you know. Because I want to try and
the high street's dying.
Get out. Well, the high street's dead.
The high street has been dying for a long time. But the reason I say that is because you're saying escape from the city. Now, they passed a ruling that any dwelling any high street shop that hasn't been occupied for a period of time can now be turned into a dwelling.
Okay.
Yeah, for people to live in.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of trading estates by me, which are trading estates. They've always been a trading estate. And when I'm driving through, I'm like, oh, is that a school? Like they've turned an office into an all-girls school. And then there's another office, which is now a block of flats.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? What is going on here? But the further we go ahead in time now, you're going to see much more of that. Which then makes me think about Ready Player One, the film, where they live in the stacks and everything's on top of each other. And Hunger Games, like I said, where everything gets segmented into the butchers live here, candlestick makers live there, etc., etc. It's like I can clearly see
it going down that way.
Because we're stuck in this funk of the Truman Show. But I think an awful lot of people are now starting to look up at the moon and realizing that there's someone sitting in that, and they're dictating and controlling everything that we're doing. I just hope to God that this COVID thing, this sounds horrible, but I hope the COVID thing is real, and not created.
Well, if it's not real, well, if you're a person that believes in truth and equality or quality of life, you would be shitting bricks, because then you'd go,
this can wipe us all out.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and why hasn't it?
Yeah, literally. So I don't know, man. I think the more we explore, the more we have conversations like this is great, because it does make me want to know more, and it always gets my brain working in hyperdrive, where I'm kind of going, the stuff that I'm doing at present is not enough. You know, I need to know more. I need to educate myself on more of this stuff, because then I can actually have a proper fair picture of life.
One of my friends that you know, but I'm not going to say,
that's cool,
they might not, did DMT.
Okay, nice. How did you get some?
Dimethyltryptamine. Apparently there's a shaman that lives by us.
Man, I need to get some.
I thought they were all in the Amazon.
Yeah, I thought so too, man.
But anyway, so he's done it.
Yeah.
And he said as soon as I took it, instantly.
Yeah.
Boom, different realm.
Yeah.
Instantaneously. So he said I looked out the window, because you can have your eyes open.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's looking out the window, and he said all the trees were all basically had their branches were all up to the sky, like they were reaching up to the sky.
Yeah.
And they were all looking at the sky.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, they all just fixed on him.
Wow.
And he was like, oh shit. So then when that happened, he kind of jumped back into the room.
Yeah.
And then he looked at the shaman. The shaman was like, okay, what can you see?
Yeah.
And he was basically like, I can see everything, as in sound, all of the colours, like vividly. And then this elephant kind of walked across the room.
Okay.
I think he said an elephant. And looked at him.
Yeah.
But he was awake, and he could see the room as well.
Okay.
But then he said that there was also like a geometric lion.
Yeah.
Staring straight at him, reading his thoughts, trying to get into him.
Okay.
Right? But he said he felt so one with nature. But this is an hallucinogenic, right?
Yeah.
And they're now talking about hallucinogenics being able to treat anxiety, schizophrenia, stress, and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But we've had this war on drugs for so long.
For a long time, yeah. Well, they're going to be able to make money off it now.
Yeah.
Look at that, mate.
Cannabis is being legalized everywhere.
Yeah.
But this, what we're saying, the reason I'm on this now is because it's connection to the earth and connection to what it is.
Yeah.
But, so ayahuasca, I think, is made up of, it's like a drink that they drink in the Amazon, that the shaman, you have to drink with the shamans. They purge your stomach first of all, so you have to take this tonic to throw everything up, to get it out of you, and then you take the ayahuasca. But I think it's made of 2 or 3 ingredients in the Amazon rainforest, of which there are millions of different plants. So how did these ancient cultures work out which 3
work in sync,
worked in conjunction with each other out of the millions and millions of plants that are out there, in order to induce this out of body experience, which everybody kind of says is the same.
Yeah.
So we went into the trance, we saw these people, they were talking to us, telling us that there's much more
out there going on.
And it's like, we're in it now with all of these radio waves and the telephone and Bluetooth and everything else. It's all messing with our equilibrium, man.
Of course it is. No, of course it is. The radiation that we interact with from our phones and all the other stuff is dampening our systems.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in heart math. Heart math is the rhythm of your heart connections to the earth. because of all this other stuff that we're using, it dampens that completely. So it's trying to escape that. How do we escape that? DMT, I'm buzzing because anyway, I would love to try it. I'm still 50-50 anyway because I get scared on that stuff. And I get scared. Well, I told you one of my clients gave me, what are they called? Jelly babies. But they were weed.
Yeah.
And that shit.
Little edibles.
Finished me, man. And because I'm an extremist. So my client says to me, Mike, I've got these. You should have one. Just have one. And I was like, yeah, no sweat. Don't leave them in the car because if they melt, then you'd have to try and cipher through how much is in and how much is not. So I had a stressful day of sessions. They're in the car. They melted. There was 2 together. So I was like, you know what? I'm a big chap. It's fine. In one. Downed it. 2 of them. 2 seconds later, I'm in the kitchen cooking and whatever. And then I'm starting to now hear stuff. And I'm sitting there going, okay, cool, yeah, just carry on cooking, whatever. Then I'm hearing people talking to me. Then I'm hearing my granddad. And I'm like, shit, my granddad's talking to me. My granddad's dead. So, like, who is talking to me? Then my granddad turned into something else. And then I was like, whoa, this is a bit tripping. But for me, DMT would be sound, but I'm worried. And I'm worried because I was shitting bricks after those 2. I was in a, yeah.
People have had some bad experiences. But I think Dean said, when he was on with us, we were having the conversation. I don't know if we had it on air or we didn't.
I think that was off here.
Yeah, but he no, because he said he didn't mind sharing it.
Yeah,
was talking about what happened with him and how it changed the way that he is
viewed
with
stuff
with certain people, and you know, and it makes you have an almost like a little awakening.
Yep.
Joe Rogan said the same thing.
Well, Mike said the same thing. Mike Tyson. He was just saying the ego just gone. You know, my ego's gone completely. Well, obviously it's back because he's now fighting now and then. But I think we need that because ego does drive us to do a lot of things in life, good things, bad things. But if we could get away from ego, we would probably be better people.
100%.
We would work together better. We would be more soul giving. You know, rather than. It's about me. I need to do better than you. I need to get one over than you. It's all about we can all succeed. Let's all support each other. So I'm all for it. And I think if we can somehow incorporate that into anxiety and into all those different issues that people are facing.
But listen, this is just something else that they've taken from us that they're now dripping back to us. Whereby
we can make money off it. That's why
I saw something ridiculous. The stat was something like 80% of all government contracts that have been handed out during the pandemic have been given to an MP's friend.
Yeah,
someone that they know. And
but you know what the flip side of this is? I get the outrage from people,
but wouldn't you do the same?
Damn fucking right.
Anyway,
you're damn fucking right, man.
But anyway, but we're talking about people that are setting up companies within 12 months to provide PPE and get paid 4.5 million for it, and then shutting the company down.
Yeah,
that's not right.
Well, it's not right, but look, you would do it. I would do it, or maybe you might not do it.
Doing it.
So I would do it. For me, I would be. I'm telling my brother, I'm telling my uncle, look, we've got this going on. Set up a company. Give me a little 10% on the back end. Let's kick in. True. I would do it. You know, even though if I'm worth millions, and most of these people are worth serious millions anyway, you do it. The contract that they were going to try and put forward with Dyson.
For what?
He was going to make ventilators.
Ventilators, yeah.
Tell me, how many ventilators has he made?
Who's he? Boris?
No, Dyson. Dyson is
the
Hoover guy.
Yeah.
So what does he specialize in?
Hoovers.
Oh, there you go. Why would I be going to him to make ventilators when there are companies that already make ventilators?
Yeah.
You know, all of it is all a big questions.
To be
duds.
The thing not to do when you have COVID.
Oh, well, the ventilators he tried to create were all duds anyway, but he had money, contracts that they put forward. They gave him some good money.
They're all sucking and not blown. Bloody, so with this, what I'm saying about the government contracts being handed out is I was like thinking the war on drugs that started decades ago.
Yeah.
And they're saying cannabis is a gateway and blah, blah, blah. But then you get older and you find out that the CIA were importing drugs in the Gaddafi's bodies from Vietnam back into the country.
Big time.
But they're supposed to be the people that are helping us and looking out for us. But they're the biggest drug smugglers out there. This is all known knowledge.
Yeah, but it's always been like that. Yeah, it's always been that.
And then cannabis is illegal.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are locked up for it.
They're not coming out.
But now they're starting to legalize it.
They're not coming out.
In an awful lot of places. Listen to me. Is it good or is it bad? Which one is it?
Yeah.
Right. And why is it that all of these people
that
are saying that it's bad have shares in companies
Yeah.
that sell it.
Because those people are smart. That's why.
Because they're smart, because they want it and they don't want us to have it.
Of course.
But if it can help people,
yeah.
why do they try and make it out to be such a bad thing all the time?
It's because they've probably not been, for a number of years, been able to harness making money off it. Now they're at the stage now where, as you said, they're setting up the companies, they're now trying to sign up contracts, and they're going to try and filter it into the pharmaceutical market where they can make money off it. And then now it's going to be widespread. Those people in prison are not going to come out there.
Parents getting done because they've given their children that have got cancer, like CBD.
And it's helped.
And it's helped them, and it's cured them.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Big fine, you go in jail for 12 months or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? And then 4 or 5 years down the line, they're selling it in Holland and Barrett. And, it's like 2 for £25.
No,
it baffles me.
But it's the world we live in. Have you watched on Netflix? They've got, what's it called? It's the university scandal in America. So it's...
Pay to...
Yeah, to get your children into the top universities.
So the lady, wasn't she in like Desperate Housewives?
She was, yeah. Her and her husband. Her husband was or is the guy. He is in. Movie will come to me. Tom Hanks plays the lead. They try and rob the lady, big black lady. They try to rob. What's the film called?
Tom Hanks.
Yes, Tom Hanks is in it. Tom Hanks is in the film. Bear with me a second. Eugene, you should be able to get on this.
Tom Hanks is blank. I'll let the listeners fill that in.
Tom Hanks is in it. Is it Lady Killers? Lady Killers.
That name rings a bell, but I wouldn't.
So there's the original Lady Killers, which is black and white. And then there is a movie that came out maybe 15 years ago. Tom Hanks plays the lead. You've got one of the Wayne brothers in it as well. The tall, skinny one. Lady Killers, you got it, Huge? Yeah. Look at that hub of knowledge when it comes to films. Say again?
Yeah, got Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, hub of knowledge when it comes to films. But now I've lost my point. Wait, help me.
Pay. I don't know if you call it pay to play, but
yes. So her husband's in it. Her husband's in it. But yeah, they were paying for places, and you had this guy, this main guy, he was changing people's records. So say you're all 5'4" or 5'6", they would create a profile for you which says you were major talent in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And he was selling places, and then he got caught, massively caught. And if you saw the prison sentences these people got, it was like 7 days,
like suspended sentences.
Yeah, a week.
But then there was the black lady that was living in a camper van in a different postcode to try and get her kid into a better school.
Yeah.
So she lived in a camper van in the catchment area. They found out, sentenced to jail for 5 years.
Wow, shit.
Because she was trying to
better her children's
life.
Wow.
But then you have this actress that was paying thousands of pounds to get her children. She got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, but that's money though, isn't it? I think if you're famous and rich, you can practically do whatever you want.
Yeah, and they have been all the way through the pandemic. And then when they get caught, they have to apologise.
And that's it. You apologise, get the slap on the wrist, you have to give some money over and then go from there. Look, Rita Ora, she was doing the most rubbish. The restaurant stuff for her birthday, flouting the rules. What happened to her?
I don't know, mate.
Nothing.
She got given a new contract on something and a new
she's in
TV
Alfie
show.
On Sky. I think Sky One. She's in Alfie. She plays
Alfie.
No, not Alfie. Oliver. That's
Twist.
It. Twist.
Yeah.
All right, go on, now, mate. It's Oliver Twist.
Because I was in it.
It was you.
But they cut my scene.
So you're not in it then?
No, well, I was still in it. I've still got credit for it. So
I was always trying. I was in a film the other day.
Always trying it.
I was in a film the other day.
Well, if I pause it, you'll see me in there. But it's literally for a split second. But the main bit that I was in, they didn't use that part. So, but you can still see me. So yeah, I'm still there.
Well, yeah, Twist. So she's in that. Yeah, we're going round the house on that one. But yeah, good on you.
Well, no, mate, it is what it is, mate.
How are you getting into those things? Because I need to try and get into film a bit more. I don't know if I can act. I'm pretending to act.
By being in people's faces and just constantly trying out for things and knocking on doors. So I've been trying to get more into voice work.
Okay.
So I've done a few auditions, waiting to hear back about that. I did an audition for a comic book series not so long ago, but I didn't get it. But the feedback that I got was great.
Really good.
So essentially, what the guy was saying to me is because you get the ticks and the pops and everything, and just learning and understanding how to use the microphone, where to sit, what to do. So I've now got all my own equipment at home.
Yeah.
So that's primarily what I'm going to be focusing on.
Okay.
To try and do. So I love different
animations
voices
and
not necessarily animations, just providing different voices
Okay.
and stuff. I also the last course I did was hosted by the guy that does the voiceovers for X Factor and everything else.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was talking about what you should do, because he's been like in like I think over 500 computer games and
Okay.
but you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, you can make money doing that.
And you can
And
make
it's
serious
fun,
money
and
because
it's
remember
interesting.
GTA, you know,
GTA, the voice work in
how
that.
many voice actors have been used for those?
But yeah, I mean, it's the same as anything. You just got to keep trying. If you've got a passion for something, you just got to keep
knocking.
moving and keep moving. I've got friends in the industry that have been in it for 2 minutes
Yeah.
and they're massively successful
Okay.
without even really lifting a finger.
Yeah.
And I've got other friends that have been
Knocking doors for
knocking
years.
doors for many more years than I have.
Yeah.
And
Got nowhere.
they've got no, but and they're not rubbish either.
Okay.
They've done some work, but then they've been unemployed for
Oh wow.
a while.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it goes. You hear those stories all over the place. So it's just about finding the project that fits you, suits you, makes you shine, and lets people see that yes, you can do
Yeah.
what you want.
Because I'm trying to get into. We're working on another film at the moment, and it's just trying to do everything on my own, basically. With obviously Eugene's help, obviously, but it's just.
Can't even cut you out, man.
No, never. I bring my man in all the time, but it's just so much work, man. Because I've been trying to acquire locations, trying to now liaise with actors, trying to work on money side, you know, and all the other stuff. And I'm passionate about it. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a lot of work.
But I think you need to have that experience and that workload in order to understand what's happening. So
Yes.
when it comes to the point in life where you're fortunate enough to be able to get someone to do all those different things, you know if you're being fucked over or not.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Or
100%.
and you'll know if they're doing it wrong or not.
Well, that's the issue I was having with the sound guy last time, was very much of, is this a good rate? Is this not a good rate? Are you going to try and hold up on the sound, which he was trying to hold up on the sound, and all those issues. Now I know, okay, that doesn't happen. You know, you put it in the contract, you get the audio files straight away rather than we have to go back and forth. So I don't know. I'm pushing to try and make things happen. We're working on another film, which we should be able to have that finished by. Well, we're filming in July, with the notion of having it properly finished maybe a month or two after that. And then I want to start working on the university project I mentioned a while back. That's what I'm really, really pushing for at the moment, because I think that could be really, really cool. And if it gets picked up properly, that would be nice.
And like I said, with regards to gatekeepers earlier and coming out of this pandemic, there's so many people that are thriving and wanting to do stuff.
Yep.
And they felt that they've been held back. Yes, you can do stuff remotely, but there's nothing like being out and doing a live audition in front of somebody. And I do get that sometimes it might be something that's in America or somewhere else. Yeah. And you do a video Zoom audition or what have you. But listen, coming out of the pandemic, I think you'll find it
more opportunities.
More opportunity.
Yeah, no, well, I'm gonna try, because I don't know if I can act. I don't know. If
coming out of the pandemic,
it's just for me. I get a bit bored. I think I might have dyslexia.
Self tapes, mate.
With reading.
Record yourselves.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And just get comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's it. To yourself, like, so you know. I remember one of the very first things I did at Pinewood, and I came out and I was buzzing. And I was thinking, yeah, man, smashed
that
it,
shit.
absolutely smashed it. When I got the feature through, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
My face wasn't doing anything.
Okay.
That I thought it was.
Yeah.
Essentially, what I was doing.
Yep.
Was being myself.
Okay.
But myself
is not what they're looking for that role.
Yeah, it wasn't what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So you had to display the particular emotions that you need and require. You have to learn your face.
Oh, you've got to keep practicing.
So that's what I mean. You have to learn your face.
Yeah.
And you have to over-accentuate
the
emotion that you're trying to portray, because Michael's rest face is just your rest face.
Yep.
So I mean, I think we're over.
I think we are.
I think we're miles over.
So, episode 16, we went on a tangent, but as always, stay focused, enjoy it. From me, signing off.
Myself, Johnny.
And Huge, cameraman. Yeah, buddy.